Okay, that being said, cause, I mean, I definitely do want to get to that debate that we were talking, well, not really debate that one topic, but, I guess Boondocks. And the stone that the soldier refused. It's original, the one that made Lady Sing the Blues. That's about it for the opening that I remember. But, anyway, Boondocks started out as a comic strip for, those of you who don't know.
Bye.
Huh? By Aaron Magruder. Fine, there's a name.
Not Boondock Saints.
Oh, no, it's very different.
Boondocks.
Yeah, but Boondocks, yeah, so, it's about two boys, like, Huey Freeman and Riley Freeman, primarily about Huey Freeman, and I would say the show itself is more about both, I guess.
Well, I think in later seasons it just becomes more about all the characters.
Right, yeah. So, anyway, it was one of those things where you kind of read it every now and then. It's kind of funny, but it's like it's a comic strip, so he had to like censor a lot of shit. But there was some funny moments.
And it was actually made by, wasn't he from...
He's from Baltimore, yeah.
Merlin?
Oh, no, yeah, Merlin, definitely.
I don't know where, he went to University of Maryland.
Yeah, he might, I don't know where exactly he originated from Maryland, but yes, he did go to University of Maryland. I believe he was born in Maryland.
Yeah, so.
But yeah, so that's cool stuff. Yeah. But, so Construct had, some good stuff, like, I remember there's one with Santa Claus, he didn't bring some rims for Riley, and yeah, Riley's like, you're gonna pay what you owe, and Santa Claus dropped by and he said he was like jolly only like 364 days. Oh no, so he's jolly one day out of the year. The other 364 is strictly gangster. He dropped so many hot shells in his house you'd think it was Christmas in Fallujah. And that's the kind of shit that they brought to the show.
And that kind of dated it.
Oh yeah, it did. It's old. But, yeah, so with the show, they were able to really push the envelope on what's okay to actually put on like TV. And there's a lot of racial shit in there. Oh my god. And, I mean, it's worth checking out, but if you're sensitive to the word nigger, I might wanna...
Yeah, they weren't afraid to say that.
Yeah, they were not, which is actually...
But they actually say it with a purpose.
Yeah, they do. And it's cause like, for all of y'all in the black community, it's a word that's thrown around a lot, cause it's supposed to be our word. We can say it, and there's a lot of controvery.
I think Al Sharpton complained about that.
Yeah.
Like, especially in the Martin Luther King Jr. episode.
Yeah.
Which had which a lot of it was kind of, that episode, like, it was mediocre. But then when they got to the end where the speech, that was a good speech.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of offensive stuff in that show, and that is, like, one of them, but this is a realistic thing. The word nigger is a hot issue word, and it's kind of funny, like, there's this dude at my, job, like, he was saying something offensive, like, to Jewish people, and he's like, it's okay because I'm Polish, just like how, you all can say the N-word, and I'm like, oh my fucking god. I'm like, it's not, this is bullshitty.
Kind of like Seinfeld, where it's like, oh, he's trying to get all joke immunity.
Yeah, like Tim Watley, and they later made fun of that, like, whole thing because he was a dentist, and there's, like, dentist jokes, and anti bastard. Yeah, so it's a pretty offensive show, and I think one of the two most hilarious characters are, like, the two crazy white guys. They try to, like, act stereotypically black. There's some funny stuff about that, and there's one where they kidnap Oprah, and it's just crazy. But, like, in Huey, of course, he's, like, the more straight character, like, gives you that straight humor. And Riley, he's just like a walking cliche, a stereotype, a commentary on, what's wrong with, our community. But they don't just focus on, like, black people. They focus on everybody. And they kind of do, like, what's wrong with everybody and how race is an issue and how, like, there's some other stuff on there. Cause it's not just about that either. And, I honestly think, though, that there's way too many episodes focused on a grandfather, and I would, like...
He's best in small doses, I think.
Yeah. Random old people shit. And there's a lot of interesting episodes. Like, there's one when it's like attack on a killer kung fu wolf bitch, and that actually had a pretty fucked up ending.
The Stink Mirror episodes are usually good.
Yeah. Came back from hell in one of them. It's great. And... yeah, the fighting in there is actually pretty good. Not what you'd expect. Like, I think it's, like, Sony is also behind that one too, like, in terms of, producing some things for it. And they throw a lot of money at it.
Let me see about that real quick.
Yeah, go ahead. And, So yeah, the fighting though, there's actually some really good fights in there, and you wouldn't expect it, and it's just great. And a lot of just funny moments. Like there was one episode where their girlfriends kept on dying in like these crazy ways. It was like a parody of 24, and some dude's like, "Oh damn, that's fucked up." And there's one point where he's like, "And the last girl, she got strapped to a rocket." He's like, "That's some Wile E. Coyote shit." Like, but anyway, they push a lot of envelopes. There's one episode about like a pimp, and he's trying to teach a guy to like stand up so he doesn't lose his wife to Usher. And they talk about bitch dependency and stuff like that. And it's just a lot of crazy stuff. It's like, how South Park can be offensive, how Family Guy can be offensive, but I think it's a little bit wittier in some regards.
Well, Sony actually is the studio behind the Boondocks.
Right, yeah.
And there's actually a controversy, with, do you remember the BET episodes?
I do. There was 2 major episodes about that, yeah.
And they were, actually banned for a little bit.
Yep.
We did eventually see them. Did we watch them on the internet?
We watched them online. It took a while before they actually were able to show them on TV.
Because, essentially, BET's parent company, Viacom, it was, I think, rumored that they threatened legal action against Sony if they broadcasted them. So, it's a show that tracks a lot of controversy.
Oh, yeah, it is. And I think it's brilliant because, like, BET is, like, you're threatening one of the few, like, black cartoons out there. It's like, way to go. I don't really know any major other ones.
Well, yeah, like I said before, Al Sharpton, protested the Martin Luther King Jr. episode using, nigga, so,
it's like, you didn't have to fucking watch
Cartoon Network must apologize and also commit to pulling episodes that desecrate black historic figures. Fuck
like,
that guy.
It's like, it's made by a black guy. What the fuck
pisses me off.
Don't act like this is about black people. Don't act like this is about us. Like, come on.
You don't speak for me.
Yeah, right? It's like, come on, you don't speak for us all. And, with the BET episodes, they got me because, like, one of the episodes was, you know, it was making fun of BET. You know, they didn't outright say the company was BET, but, like, it was a pretty funny episode, I felt. And one of the things that they said, and it was kind of true for a period of time, in my opinion, was like, they said BET was pretty much taking all shows from MTV from like 5 years ago and making them black. Just like, I didn't like that one. And then the other one was like this company that was supposed to represent BET. Like, they gave Uncle Ruckus like a self-hating black guy in the show. Like,
do black people still watch BET? It's like, I don't know anyone that watches BET.
I don't watch it routinely, but like, I personally, I watch it occasionally because, the game is on there now.
You watch the game?
I watch the game, yeah. And
Whoa.
you know what? I'm not ashamed of it.
Okay, I learned something new today. Wow.
Not regularly, but every now and then, because, you know, I started watching it with mom, so.
Yeah, I remember reading somewhere that got really high ratings.
It did when it went to BET.
Yeah, when
like,
it went to BET.
It actually set a record, like,
it
got
a record.
Like, most views for, like, a cable show, like, when it first premiered. Like, it's,
well, maybe for a sitcom.
Yeah, for a sitcom. That's what it was, for a sitcom. Yeah.
I don't think it'd be for all shows ever.
But, I mean, it's one of those things where I started watching it, and, like, I watch it every now and then. I do like to try to keep up with it, because it's, like, one of the few black shows on TV. And they actually do have some entertainment value to it. But it's like, yeah, it started on, like, the CW, but then they try to get rid of, like, all, like, the half-hour comedies, so it went to, BET. And, yeah, so I watch it, BET for that every now and then. But I don't really know a lot of black people that still watch BET. But anyway, yeah, the Boondocks. It a lot of racially charged moments, a lot of, like, I guess, things in pop culture that's, like, you know, relevant to our time, making fun of that. And, you know, overall it's funny. I mean, some episodes are definite misses, but I feel like overall it's more hits than misses. And, you know, so that's good. And, one of the key parts, they have a lot of, like, guest stars, and there was one part where, you know, like, it was a rap episode, like, they were talking about Cruise and stuff like that. And, you know, like, some people do recognize that a lot of stuff in, like, rap is, like, entertainment value and stuff like that. But some people take that shit seriously. And here you had actual rap stars, mind you, that talked about, like, gangster rap in this one episode. And so Riley, he's upset because he lost a chain. And one of the characters like, didn't you know being part of a crew means you don't have to act like a man? And it was Buster Rhymes. Buster fucking Rhymes. I'm gonna talk about gangster rap. Like, he's saying that shit. It's funny, cause, you know, they have a sense of humor in what they do. Like, yeah, I think 50 Cent actually was on there. Like Snoop Dogg's been on a couple episodes.
50 Cent is
Air Marshal 50 Cent.
It's Soul Plane 2.
Yeah, they did a parody of Soul Plane 2. Didn't they actually make a sequel to Soul Plane 2 in real life eventually?
No way they did a Soul Plane 2.
I think they might have done a Soul Plane 2.
There's no
but
way.
Whether they did it in real life or not, there was a parody of Soul Plane 2.
If it was straight to DVD.
Yeah. There was a parody of Soul Plane, and it was a sequel to, it was like Soul Plane 2, The Blackjacking. And it had Monique and 50 Cent.
I don't think so, but
yeah. But 50 cents, it's Air Marshal 50 cents.
Soul Plane 2, The Blackjacking.
Yes. But yeah, it's a pretty decent show. So, I guess probably maybe one or two more like regular shows real quick, and then we'll talk about like Seth MacFarlane deal, and I'll probably end up
our opinions on whether that's our favorite or not. Or
we'll talk about that after that. So like, you can go and pick one.
Okay. Well, this is gonna be tough for me.
Okay.
I guess let's go with one that I really find funny.
Okay.
Archer.
Okay. And before we talk about that, like, there were a couple, like, shows that we did, like, on here that were related to the DC universe, but we feel like there's so much shit there that is a whole nother discussion, and we're already going on. So let's talk about art.
I think we may want to do DC universe, like a whole episode.
Oh, hell yeah. There's a lot of source material there. I mean, the shows, the movies is good shit.
Yeah. I'd like to do something on the movie.
Oh,
talk about which
hell, we could probably do one on either.
movies.
Like, really.
We could talk about but Archer,
so
which is I think is the funniest cartoon on maybe the funniest comedy. Like,
it's like consistently so. Like, it's 4 seasons and it's still fucking funny. Like,
it's by the same guy who did C-Lab 2021.
Which is kind of ironic because that show was shit. Like,
well, I think the problem was like the humor. He wasn't controlled in that.
Yeah,
he didn't figure out how to. It's like your powers are too great and you're out of control, and so it's crazy. And this one, he's managed to channel it into something that's a plot. Actually has like a plot and is amusing.
Yeah, and FX kind of like, they're like, do what you want to do. This is going to be like, original FX program, so, we just want to get new shit out there, I guess. Like, whereas before, it's like standard Cartoon Network, Adult Swim bullshit.
Yeah, but by the way, FX is going to be creating a new channel, FXX, which is going to be like their TV version of TBS. So like FX would be like TNT with the serious shows, and FXX would be like TBS with the comedy shows, so stuff like Legit and Louie and stuff like that. And I'm not sure if Archer's going to be on there, but probably because it's a comedy show.
Yeah.
So hopefully everyone will just get that channel.
I hope so, because this is good.
But yeah, so the plot of Archer, I'll get into that. So Archer is about. Can you guess who it's about, Jordan?
I'm gonna guess it's about a character named Archer. Or, someone who shoots arrows a lot.
You're actually wrong. It's actually about a pink elephant. Okay.
Oh my god, that explains so much. How did I not get that one? Oh, wait.
So Archer is a secret spy agent who's constantly actually reveals himself. Because what's the point of being a secret spy if you can't tell everyone about it?
Yeah.
And he works for the kind of private spy organization, ISIS, run by his mother, who's basically the mother from Arrested Development.
She really is. Great.
Literally. And imagine if she was running a spy agency and her overly attached son was a spy who worked for her. And it's populated by these crazy characters. One of my favorite is Krieger.
He's been, oh my god, every scene that I've seen Krieger in, it's just like, he's consistently funny. It's just like, god, there's so much sketchy shit around that character.
Oh, well, one of the subtle things in one of the recent episodes was the one with the pig.
Oh, yeah.
And the pig's radioactive.
Yeah.
And he moves the I forgot what that,
the Geiger counter?
The Geiger counter over his dick.
It starts beeping.
It starts beeping. And it's really quick and you'll miss it, cause it's like, oh, and then you wait, holy fuck, shit, he fucked that pig. Wait, you didn't realize that?
Oh god, no!
Cause I thought,
oh god!
Well, how do you think his dick got radioactive?
I don't don't know. He does really fucked up shit, but I didn't know it was that. Like, oh god.
Okay. It's a really, like, quick blink if you miss it moment, because if you don't think about it, because, like, the pig had to eat the radioactive material, you assume because it eats everything, even cannibalized well, I guess not cannibalized, like, ate humans at the end. So you assume it ate the radioactive stuff and it's glowing.
But he's sensing a couple things, and then, he did go to his jungle.
It's like, oh, the censors probably wanted us to make a bestiality joke. So we're gonna do it subtly. So it's like, how else was Junkman radioactive?
I don't know, but it would be the first time.
It's a very subtle joke.
I don't know, but he does a lot of things where he's like, why, how, but okay, that actually makes a disturbing amount of sense, and okay, I actually missed that one. I catch most of the subtle shit in that show. Like, we've talked about some of the subtle shit, but I missed that one, and I can't unlearn that.
and see, it's like, and he also has a hologram anime wife.
Oh yeah. Is he married to her now? Yeah, well, you just said wife, so there we go. But, but it's not the first time they did have a bestiality thing in there, because there was also an episode where it's heavily implied and kinda almost said, what?
Or like Archer fucked the pig and...
Oh, well, yeah, there's that implication. Oh, wow, this is a real thing.
Wait, is there something with pig fucking in this?
There was pig fucking, but there was also, like, the octopus in the toilet that raped, the gay guy in the counter. Like, you remember that?
Yeah.
Like, the octopus raped them and Pam filmed them.
I can just imagine someone listening to this podcast right now, and they've not watched Archer at all, and they're hearing about, like, all these animal rape stuff, and they're like, this sounds like a horrible show. This sounds like some bad porn video.
Oh,
It's not like that.
It's not. It's just like these small things that, you think about, and you're like, oh, yeah.
Well, like, it's not like Family Guy humor, but I'm saying, like, if you can tolerate Family Guy levels of, like, of making fun of everyone, then you can tolerate Archer. I'm not saying it's like Family, because it's not like Family Guy. It's a different type of joke.
Very different. It's
jokes that revolve around characters instead of just like cutaways, which South Park famously made fun of.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess like, so yeah, Archer's the secret spy agent, and there's these weird characters, and it's basically about him kind of being a selfish asshole, and how them going on spy missions, and all these characters being like these weird people with quirks and being selfish assholes, kind of like screws everything up or leads to these crazy adventures. And it's a pretty funny show.
Yeah, it's just like everyone's a jerk. And it's like, it takes a incredible amount of skill to have someone be as much of an asshole as Archer is and still actually be a relatively likable character.
And I'm not sure, like, I can imagine anyone other than H. John Benjamin playing him now.
Yeah, you really can't. I don't think anyone will do a decent job of it. Like, his voice it works so well with it. And it's just funny because some of the other roles he's played in, it's just like, he's so plain and boring, but this, makes him pop. Like, he also is currently doing Bob of Bob Burger.
Yeah, I feel like someone else could have played that.
Yeah.
And it would have been just as good. But I don't think anyone else could have played Archer.
And also,
well.
I feel like the fact that he plays Archer now kind of takes away from some of the other roles that he would take on. Like, I think it makes Bob from Bob's Burgers, like, just that much worse because he's such a boring, bland character there. And now I'm thinking, like, this is Archer. What is he doing here?
There's also kind of a crossover this season.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Yeah, the first episode of this season was basically kind of like a Bourne version of the Bourne Identity, where he ends up with amnesia and working at Bob's Burgers, and he thinks he's Bob, and it takes place in the Archer universe, but it stars the characters of Bob Burgers, and it's kind of crazy.
It's brilliantly done, though.
And later, this first part of the season finale, the voice actors from his children actually show up in some of the characters, so.
Yeah, and so that's pretty damn cool.
So yeah, a lot of crossover.
Yeah, and it's a pretty good show. And also, not just that, like, there's subtle references. Like, I don't know if you picked it up in, like, one of the episodes, like, this season, but they mentioned, something about Lucy and the daughter of the devil.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they mentioned that.
And I guess, like, the season finale is kind of like a C-Lab 21 crossover, too.
So there's, like, a lot of references to works that, like, the creator worked on and that H. John Benjamin performed on, so it's a lot of cool shit like that.
Well, like, I'm kind of getting annoyed by Community's meta now, because it's too meta. it's like, oh, we're meta and we know we're meta, and we're gonna pronounce it to you, where I prefer this, like, subtle stuff.
Yeah. That's because, it comes across as more skillful instead of, I'm doing it because it's trendy.
Well, I know a lot of people are banging up on the new community, but that's just the way I feel about it, right?
Well, shit sucks is when I get ganged up on sometimes. I mean, that's how it is. And, the creator left, right? And that does have an impact on it. And the last couple of episodes have really not been that good. But yeah, so Archer, it's good stuff. It's still going, and it's, due for a 5th season, if I'm not mistaken, so... Yeah, I'd check it out if you haven't seen it already.
Wait, back to the Boondocks real quick.
Oh, yeah,
There's supposed to be season 4.
There is.
I don't know when that's happening.
They've been talking about it, but I don't know when.
I don't know what's happening, what's going on with that. I can't find any news about it other than it's supposed to be a 20-episode season 4.
Well, I'm looking forward to it, though. I mean, because season 3, they just, they went completely off the rails in a really good way, they pushed it like never before, the envelope. So, yeah. I'm looking forward to, Archer and Boondocks are, 2 shows I would, definitely check out more of. And it's kind of funny because, Archer going into his 5th season and that's going into his 4th. So they've been around for a little bit and there's a good reason for it. As opposed to, I'm going to take a shot. Simpsons, which, it's just it's kind of around for nostalgia's sake. And it's just it's created such a large fan base. It's I don't feel like there's really anything decent left to do with it.
Well, see, I feel like we weren't allowed to watch Simpsons when we were younger.
That's not entirely true. We saw some episodes.
I don't remember any.
You were a little younger, but
yeah, we weren't allowed. So we don't have the same nostalgic thing. Seasons 5 through 8 were great because we never really watched it, and I guess there's so much stuff to watch now. We don't really have the incentive to go back and watch that.
Sure. And some of the earlier stuff, from what I've seen anyway, from what I hear.
Well, I've seen some great. I saw some, remember the episode where, we were talking about this the other day, where the guy comes in and, he's everything bad's happening to him.
Yeah.
And everything good's happening to Homer. And he's like, why? How's this fair? You're an idiot. You do these horrible things. You're selfish. You're a horrible person. And yet all these horrible things are happening to me. And you have this beautiful wife. You have a cushy job. Even if you have nuclear explosions or whatever, you keep your job. And it's about him trying to take down Homer. It's a great deconstruction of the Simpsons setup.
It really is an incredibly dark. I think that's when they kind of found their stride for a little bit, And it was a good episode though, because I did have to watch it. It was depressing. It's cause this dude has led such a rough life, He pretty much had to raise himself, became an entrepreneur, put himself through school. He finally gets this job, and then he kind of loses it. The ending was just awful too. It's oh god.
Well, it kind of shows the heights that Simpson can reach.
Yeah, it did.
And the possibilities. So I don't think it's fair for me to really talk about Simpsons because we didn't really watch that much about it.
Yeah, but it's okay, yeah.
We've only
kind of reached its peak, but I feel it's going downhill now, from the stuff that I've seen. It's what the shit is that?
I think that's the general consensus, actually, among everyone.
Yeah.
I've watched it a few times this season.
Yeah.
And usually it's just it wasn't offensive to me or this is so bad. I can't believe anyone wasted their time.
No, it was just more boring than anything, and sometimes that's just bad.
Yeah, it's just very forgettable. It's I could have been doing, I guess I could have been watching a better show. That's the only reason you would ever be upset about watching The Simpsons. I could have been watching a better show. I don't know what show, because a lot of shows suck, but
that's true. Yeah. But, okay.
Yeah, so, do you want to get in the Seth MacFarlane, or do you want to do another one?
Let me go back for a second.
Do we talk about King of the Hill?
Yeah, for a little bit, and then we can go on that.
That's by Mike Judd, right?
Yeah. He's been active.
yeah, from Beavis and Butthead fame, and he didn't do Daria, but that's just a spin-off of Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah. And that sort of art style kind of shows up in King of the Hill, the Beavis and Butthead a little bit. Well, I can think that by that point, the humor.
I'm curious, did they ever make a cameo thing or ever in King of the Hill, or or a joke about that?
I believe so. I can't remember directly, but I think they did.
Okay.
And I don't know how people in a whole view King of the Hill, but whenever I bring it up in conversation or someone else brings it up in conversation, everyone talks about how funny it is because it's just like it's nothing too crazy. It's just like the kind of humdrum, everyday sort of shit. And you wouldn't expect something like that to be funny, but it's just like how the characters in the show deal with these situations. And it is heavy on the characters and how they interact in this world. And I guess it would be centered around Hank Hill, but it's about a lot of other characters too. And the humor is so dry and it's just great.
Well, it kind of reminds me of like what people's idea of what The Simpsons used to be, except for without the craziness. But it's kind of like where it's not really about. It became more about the town of Arlen, and like this little community neighborhood with like Con and Bill and their neighbors, Boomhauer, and like all the crazy people, Joseph. John Redcorn, you know all these little characters.
And Dale. He's probably the craziest character on there.
Pakistan.
What's a child?
What was
Rusty
the alien?
Shackleford. God damn.
There's like a list of great aliases. Yeah. Like if we ever made a great list of great aliases on TV, like be like Art Vandelay, Rusty Shackleford, stuff like that.
Yeah, there's an episode where he actually meant the real Rusty Shackleford. That was great. But there's a lot of great characters to know. For the record, fun little fact, like, Hank and Boomhauer are both voiced by Mike Judge, the creator of the show. So yeah, he puts in a lot of time in that show.
But yeah, stuff a lot of creators, they tend to voice.
do that, yeah.
Like the South Park guys voice a lot, and Family Guy.
And it's sad, but I've watched enough King of the Hill to understand Boomhauer, because he's a character sort of mumbles, he's like talking like down, kind of thing, get just something, got the down thing, like that. And he talks like that pretty consistently. He never really talks like in a normal way, but ironically enough, he sings in a normal way. And his whole family talks the same way he does, so it's kind of entertaining.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, and it's like, I think there was one point where they were trying to do something from his perspective, and it sounded like everyone else was doing what he was doing, and he was talking normal.
Wait, do you want to explain what King of the Hill is about?
Oh, yeah. So, King of the Hill, essentially, it's about this dude, Hank Hill. He's their propane salesman. He sells propane and propane accessories.
And he's not technically a king of a hill.
No, he's really not. And so it focuses a lot on his family, like his wife, Peggy, who changes a lot throughout the series, going from a mild-mannered housewife to like a egotistical narcissist. And kind of dumb in some cases, but really damn funny. She's probably one of the funniest characters in the show.
Well, yeah, it's like they realized this character was kind of like a boring sitcom wife, and then they realized, we can go this direction with her, and they shifted it.
And I kind of like that,
which I appreciate.
Yeah, because she went from I'm gonna follow whatever Hank says to like she combats him a fair amount in like different situations. But yeah, and it's about like them and their son Bobby and their whole dynamic and other. Yeah.
Well, Bobby, who's like basically I feel like he's the kind of character's been done a little bit before, sitcoms, where he's like kind of like the weird, like the father's like the traditional, I went camping, I do handiwork, and the son's kind of like an artsy, weird, quirky kid. He's kind of chubby, and and a lot of the episodes revolve around their conflicts.
Especially Hank and Bobby. Oh wait, no, that's what you said.
Yeah, because they have different worldviews of like what's normal and stuff, and like it's like they learn from each other, about moral of the day kind of stuff. It's not like mean spirited like other shows, like comedy shows can be.
Yeah, like there's actually like some well intentions sometimes, and when there's not a real good intention, it's usually realized on either party, and they try to reconcile. And
it doesn't take place in like a crazy universe like this, like Simpsons. It's more.
It's just like this calm place, kind of like Arlen, Texas.
I feel like it could have been a live action show. I could have seen this as a live action show.
Yeah, it really could.
I'm not sure what. Yeah, I'm not sure what would have been necessary for this to be like. I'm not sure how they take advantage of the animated medium. If there's any flaw with that, it could have been like a regular show.
It really could have.
But I guess like if you want for more control over the character, if you don't want to like, be beholden to actors and like how they create the character, then the animated thing would probably be better for you.
Yeah.
But other than that, like I feel like you could have actually had like live action people playing in there.
He really could have, and I think it was a good show, and it lasted for a while, and it was going to go on for a while further, but it got kind of boosted out just because like they wanted to make room for the Cleveland show. Seth MacFarlane.
I think they might cancel it. It's on the bubble right now as we speak of today.
And you know why that's irritating? Because King of the Hill actually had decent ratings.
It might be canceled by the time this podcast actually gets up.
Yeah, probably. And it's like, damn, it got canceled.
Or it could be renewed.
Ratings, but I don't know. But
the Cleveland show actually gets a lot of guest stars.
It does. I don't get it.
like I think there was somebody that was shocked played a character on there. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Do you want to get into something like
Might as well. This is a good point to segue into it.
Oh yeah. That was my intention the entire time.
Well, clearly. So let's finish this off with a discussion of Seth MacFarlane shows. The reason why we're even talking about this in the first place is because there are times in some of his shows where it's just like there's so many there's a couple good episodes here and there where you want to say, oh, that is really good, but you can't say that about the whole show. And in particular, I mean, American Dad more than Family Guy. And I can't even say much about the Cleveland show because it irritates me a lot. Yeah.
Okay, here's what I was shocked by. Ariana Huffington, who runs the Huffington Post. You know about Huffington Post, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Voices the Bear's wife on the Cleveland show.
Heck? Oh God, no! What?
Doesn't that seem like completely random?
It does, and horrifying on some level.
But like, how did he get her?
I don't know. I mean, it's Seth MacFarlane's project at the end of the day, so I mean, he knows a lot of people. But honestly, I can't answer that.
No, well, isn't that just like it's not like one time thing because that's a regular recurring character.
That is true,
unless they like changed her at some. But I don't know.
Either way, it's weird.
It's very weird.
But I'm probably I want to kind of keep the focus to American Dad because that's one of my main reasons for having this discussion. But we could talk about the other shows too.
Okay. Okay. You're introduced, like I think a lot of people, to Family Guy on Adult Swim.
It's true.
That's where first introduction to Seth MacFarlane stuff. Although Seth MacFarlane got some of his earlier work on stuff like Dexter's Laboratory and stuff.
Yeah.
And he parlayed like kind of like that stuff, and he eventually created Family Guy on Fox, and that got canceled.
Yeah.
And they make fun of that a lot on the show.
They do.
And like other like Futurama, it got reborn on Adult Swim. Like the popular, like people like, we missed the show the first time, and they showed it so much that like on Adult Swim. Like I remember this one summer we watched it, and we would watch it like every night.
Yep, that and Futurama because they had them back to back.
Yeah, Knuckles Teen Hunger Force, which
don't get that one. And you know what? We weren't high. Why did we watch that?
It's a very difficult show to watch if you're not high.
Yeah, because I mean, I think that's the whole point. It's like I think that show would make much more sense if someone was high. But yeah.
Anyway, it became so popular they brought it back on Fox.
Yeah,
and I remember this because
I
remember this because me and my friends were very excited about it in high school, and we talked about it the next day. And
yeah, it's very big around like the later high school days, and in my case, the earlier college days. It's like that group was very excited
because we'd all watch it on Adult Swim. I don't think any one of us watched it on the original Fox. No. It was all Adult Swim.
I saw like an episode of Futurama once, like on Fox, but I didn't really pay any mind to it. But, with Family Guy, definitely Adult Swim. And, God.
And there's some of the critics say that Family Guy was better before it went off the air. Some people say, do you think the style changed when it came back a lot?
To an extent, yeah. Definitely enough to notice. And, I think it's more like in the beginning, there wasn't anything special about Family Guy. If you watch early episodes, they're kind of shitty. But, like, I think towards that end that it had on Fox, it got really good. And then when it came back, they had a lot of different things going on. Like,
I like the Mel Gibson episode, the first one that came back.
That was a good start to it.
Yeah, cause like, Passion of the Christ 2, crucify this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was actually a good joke. But I mean, like, the problem with Family Guy, it's very hit or miss. They're constantly putting out jokes, and sometimes they hit, and a lot of times they miss. And so there'll be like an episode where there's one joke you find hilarious, and the rest is just garbage. It's a very like show. It's a very YouTube-y show. Where it's like, I wish someone would like go. There's probably someone that does this. Like, watch the Family Guy episode for me, and then curate the best jokes.
Yeah.
And then I would just go on YouTube the next day and just watch the jokes.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
the best.
And sometimes it's honestly better about that, because you don't give a fuck about the rest of the episode. You just kind of watch that.
Because I don't think there's been a plot where I was like, oh, that was real deep. I was touched by that.
No, there really isn't. There's times where they try to do that, and it's like, that is Family Guy at its worst, when they're trying to be serious. It's like, you're not fucking serious. Don't try.
Every now and then they have a moment that I just find hysterical. Like, I think from last season was the episode where like, Quagmire calls out Brian on his shit.
Oh yeah.
Where it's like, you're trying to steal your friend's wife. He brought you in from being homeless. He pays for your food. You shit on his lawn. You're an asshole. You think Catcher in the Rye is deep. You know why? Because you're an asshole. And it's like,
yeah, he's like, you really identify with the main character because he's like a pretentious asshole, yeah. But you know what? Now we're talking about like how, like, that was from one of the later seasons. It was just like, I guess every now and then they do try to do something funny. But okay, when we're talking about how it came back to Fox, I actually think like, yeah, the style, it was different, but it was different in a good way at first. And then after like that first season, after it returned, it kind of had a problem like finding its footing, and it kind of just did whatever, and it's just like, it went back and forth more and more. Because that season had a lot of good episodes that I like. I mean, there's a lot of, like, there's another chicken fight. There's the one that Ryan beat up Stewie. I mean, no, Stewie beat up Ryan, but yeah.
Well, it's probably the best episodes of all Family Guys are the ones where they just go full out crazy. Like, the ones where Brian and Stewie tend to go on adventures. Not the Vault episode, because that's just...
Oh god, it's horrible. It's just like Seth MacFarlane.
I know some people that like it because they like... Because I guess they just like emotional stuff, but I'm
yeah.
It was a bubble episode.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Usually when they just go crazy, like time travel adventures or the dimension hopping or the recent one with the Back to the Pilot.
Yeah, that was brilliant. Well done. They made fun of a lot of earlier stuff. It was great. And well, one of my things with the show is like, okay, so you know how they have some recurring jokes, some are just annoying. The ones that like I find really, really unfunny, the stuff about Meg is just like, god damn, give it a rest. It's like, come on.
Yeah, they tend to beat their gags to death, like, oh, Stewie, he's kind of gay or bisexual or wants to be a woman, or it's like, okay, we get the point. You made this joke. Like, it's not funny anymore.
Yeah, and I thought like one of the funnier episodes, and I hate that it was undone by the end of it, but it was like Meg kind of got like completely insane. Like she went to prison and she came back and she kind of made everyone her bitch.
Yeah, that would have been a good opportunity to start the Meg. Recurring Meg is
yeah. But then they kept it up. And then there was another episode where she actually pointed out everyone's flaws in the family and why they're all horrible, horrible, shitty people. And then by the end of it, she goes back to being how she is because she thinks it's for the good of the family. It's like, that's horrible.
And yeah, it's like we get the joke. It's really Mila Kunis and she's hot. And
yeah, she is.
Yeah, it's and haha, it's funny because we're making fun of her and calling her ugly. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, we get it.
Although I will say, so in addition to in that episode, right, I did like how she bitched him out. I hated the ending, but like the other thing that I found very interesting was like Brian in that episode. Because he was gone. He was on shrooms that episode. And like the imagery was great.
Oh, we might actually reach 2 hours.
At this point, we're gonna just finish our discussion when we finish our discussion because we've been going, so fuck it. It is going to that point, but I mean, it probably won't all be this long though, you know?
Yeah. We're just. I don't think we're gonna do a set time. I think.
Oh yeah.
I think we're just gonna do like whatever is best.
Yeah, shooting the shit, and when we're done shooting the shit, we're done. So yeah. Okay, let's continue.
Yeah, back to the topic. But so I think Family Guy. It's like I'm not sure. Like, it's not. There's some episodes you should probably just skip. There's some like if there's like a time travel episode or adventure episode, those are probably ones you should check out.
Yeah, if you read it and you're like, oh, sorry, if you read a description or something and you see something crazy, something sci-fi-ish, you probably should investigate.
If you have a friend that like kind of knows your taste, then like and they watch the show regularly, then you might want to ask them, hey, should I watch this on demand or online the next day or whatever. Or maybe just catch out some of the funny jokes on YouTube, you know?
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm kind of like...
I'm over Family Guy for a large part. Like, if it's on, it's on. I'm not going to miss it if it was gone.
Yeah, if they ended Family Guy, I wouldn't be upset at all.
Yeah, because, I mean, by this point, most of the characters, we get who they are. They're not going to change it. They're just kind of, eh.
Well, there's two other Seth MacFarlane shows in Animation Domination.
Yes, there are.
The Cleveland Show and American Dad. American Dad, it was a show that came out on Fox. I don't know, like years after Family Guy returned?
I think it was actually just 1 year after Family Guy returned, because I think it came out in 2006. Whereas Family Guy returned in 2005, I think. Okay,
so, American Dad, it came to fruition because, the popularity of Family Guy and, essentially, it was born during the, the Bush, the Bush, security post 9/11 era. And so, like, I think the original intention for the show was for it to be like, kind of like making fun of like politics in the post 9/11 world. And they do an episode every now and then about it. But at the beginning, that was kind of a big focus because, like, it's level orange. I forgot what the threat level thing was.
Yeah, it was something ridiculous, and it's like there were so many jokes around the politics at that time, and it was very clear which era it was in. It's just like a lot of early episodes, they were just like they were okay, mediocre at best, and then it kind of became something else.
Yeah, I think when they finally let the characters just like loose, like Roger go crazy and everything, it turned into something actually pretty decent.
Yeah, and I do like how some of the characters did develop, because the original Roger is just like, God, he's just like this annoying, effeminate alien, and then he's just like, he's batshit insane, he's doing all these crazy things. He's just a horrible, horrible alien.
Yeah, and probably our favorite episode about that is the split personality episode.
Oh, yes. Okay, so, yeah, I'm gonna talk about that real quick. And I don't care if it's spoiled, because, we discussed that. But, it's just like, real quick, in this episode, there's someone who's like, Roger, his identity had been stolen. And when he tracks down the person who has stolen his identity, he realizes it was himself, and he's been torturing this person. He didn't know who it was, like, but cause he took their credit card back, and he was trying to ruin their life and all this. And when he found out it was him, he also found out that version of him put out on a hit himself, and it was great. And so he was trying to figure out what happened, and you go to the other side, you see this alternate personality. He's just the very complete opposite of Roger. He's sensitive, he's nice, he works for a Bible making company, and oh god. So one of the things that I found hilarious, and it is like one of the most horrible things I've seen in that show, and that's saying something. There's one part where he's torturing him, and he grows these trees. And so the tree is just like, it's messed up, and there's like saplings or...
Well, the good version of him grows the trees.
Yeah, the good version of him grows the trees. And he comes back and he sees like, them all messed up and all that. And he's like, what happened? And this old guy's like, I don't know how to say this, but there was a guy here and he raped the tree. He raped it. It's like, oh god. But,
it's like, the best thing was that, like, the note, I made the
saplings watch. Like, God, he raped a tree and made the saplings watch. And that just, it says so much about Roger's character.
I feel kind of horrible because, like, There's so many references to rape jokes
There
here.
is, especially with
Tonight,
Roger.
I mean
in general?
in general, because with Archer and then Phil. I feel like we kind of sound horrible.
Well, I mean, these are kind of the shows we watch. Like every now and then, there's gonna be horrible stuff like in these comedies. Because I mean, you're talking about Beast Challenge and Archer, but there's been a lot. Like in American Dad, Stan Master, he jerked a horse off. In Family Guy,
Yeah, they got fined by the FCC for.
He does, but
Yeah,
which is funny because in Family Guy, you had him sleep with like a horse, and you had him get raped by Peter. And
Well, Brian sleeps with.
Oh yeah, Brian sleeps with women on a regular basis.
But,
You have a point, yeah.
But yeah, yeah. It's just like I'm imagining someone watching this podcast like doesn't know anything about Family Guy or Archer or American Dad, and they're like, man, these people sound like weirdos with the raping, you know.
Yeah. Oh God, well, we're talking about rape.
I don't want to be a I don't want to be in a room. They're sexual predators.
Yeah. So on that topic of rape, I'm going to say one thing about that. Like, just like, oh my God, the mind rape thing is. Yeah.
See, look.
Okay, it just sounded funny.
This is not
it's
not rape the mood. It's crash the mood.
He crashed so hard he got raped. I don't know. But no, I see your point. Yeah, but during that episode, it was just great because he realized that he had suffered a trauma. Like, the act of him doing something nice in the episode created a trauma so great that he developed another personality to cope with it.
Yeah, so American Dad is... Okay, we kind of skipped this, but American Dad's basically about Stan, who's a CIA agent living in Langley Falls, near the CIA headquarters, and it's about him. He has a daughter who's kind of like a college failure, community college person. I'm not saying go to community college or failure, but she's kind of a slacker. And she has a slacker boyfriend, and there's also, what's the son's name? Steve, who's a nerd, and that conflicts with Stan being the macho post 9/11 action guy he is. Then he has wife Francine, who's kind of like stereotypical wife, but she's kind of like can be like a selfish bitch, and
actually sometimes quite clever. You know,
and clever.
Them depicting her as stupid, like on the regular.
Yeah, and of course he has a fish that has a guy transplanted into the fish's body, but that really doesn't play a role in the story that much. They actually make fun of that a lot, because I guess that was one of those things where, like, oh, we need a wacky character in the beginning, and then they didn't know what to do with him, and so
sort of stuck around.
But they didn't want to get rid of him because they have to be weird. But yeah, he's basically used as character. And then there's the kind of breakout star, I guess, like the Steve Urkel of the show, or Roger, who many later episodes revolve around, who's basically a sociopathic alien. And yeah,
and it's like most of the characters in there are just horrible people. Oh, and how could we talk about American Dad without talking about Bullock?
Yeah, there's a lot of funny side characters, like Bullock, who's voiced by
Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, Captain Picard.
Yes,
of Star Trek fame. Sir Patrick Stewart, right?
Yes, actually, yeah. That's crazy. It's like, wait, what? That's actually him? Oh my God.
And he's a drug addict. He's a drug addict, head of the CIA. Is he the head of the CIA, or is he just head of their division?
I think head of the division. No, it might be the whole thing.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
And another side character I like is the principal.
Oh yeah, Principal Lewis. Oh God, the episode where like Steve got set up with the drugs in the locker. He's like, tell him El Lobo Negron is back. He's insane. It's just great because like before, you know, he wasn't really in there, but he kind of broke out like Roger broke out, but not as much. So you know, they've been using him more.
I like the show, but there's many a week where it just has a mediocre episode.
Yeah,
it's not a really consistent show.
No, it's not. Although it did have a very, very good run for a couple of years, I think. Like, right now, it's kind of like going back and forth, but like, yeah, there's some episodes that are just really great, and there's some that just have really damn funny moments. Like, there's the one Christmas episode where they're in heaven, and, you know, Stan, he steals the, he pulls out his gun on like the judge in heaven, and he's like, "Oh, that doesn't work here." So he takes the heaven gun from like a
guard.
like the guard, and so someone's like, "Oh, it's a heaven gun. Those can kill anybody." And some guy's like, "I hate to be that guy, but why do we have those?" And then everyone's just kind of carrying on with what they're doing. He's like, "No, like seriously." He's like, "I'm happy here, but really." And they had great moments like that, and then there was like this.
Well, that sort of traces us back to the Family Guy humor, where it's funny, where it's like, "Oh, we're gonna repeat something, or we're gonna bring up something that no one else really brings up," and it's pretty funny. But sometimes that backfires.
Yeah.
But one good thing about American Dad is it doesn't have the moments like where Peter's on the ground going,
Okay, we're not going to stuck you there, but you get the point.
Yeah, imagine that for like 5 minutes.
Oh god.
It feels like 5 minutes. I don't know if it's...
I think sometimes it's been 5 minutes. And then they're going through that stupid phase where they were doing a goddamn Conway Tweety or whatever singing cutaways. But anyway, American Dad doesn't really have a lot of cutaways, And then, yeah, they had a lot of good moments, and then some mediocre ones. There hasn't been really like a episode that was too horribly dreadful, which I can't say the same about Family Guy. So, I mean,
yeah, I don't think there's one that I've been like, this just pisses me off.
Yeah,
like, there's been like Family Guy episodes where like they do like a 5-minute like lectures where like about like stuff about like about the Bible or something or some political thing. And you're like, it's like, sometimes you're like, okay, I agree with you. Sometimes you're like, I disagree with you. But you're like, either way, you're like, I didn't come to the show to be like, preached to.
Especially when it's poorly executed.
It's not like there's like the punchline at the end of the preaching. I could deal with it if it's like, and then there's a punchline. But no, it's just like, nope, that's just it. That's just the moral.
Yeah. It's like, I don't need a show like that saying anything about morals. That's not a strong suit. Not at all. And American Dad has a lot less of that.
It's like, even if I agree with you on some of the stuff, and even if I don't, I'm not interested.
Yeah. And it's like, in American Dad, when someone tries to take a stand, it's just like, usually someone points out how much of a horrible character they are, and it just doesn't work. But I mean, they have a lot of good moments. They have some cool characters, and then some like that just kind of fade into obscurity as time goes on.
Yeah, it's like other shows where it just like hits and miss.
Yeah.
In the Cleveland Show, we don't consider that one of our favorites. That even close. It's a triumph of mediocrity.
Yeah, I mean, the main star is Cleveland. He was pretty mediocre in Family Guy, so it's
I mean, like, I can literally, I watched this show, I was like, I didn't laugh at all. It's just like, I just watched it.
Yeah.
And it was just there.
And there might be like occasional funny moment and once in a blue moon, but it really doesn't happen that much. And it's like, it's not even like, it's very, very weird show, and not even good weird, it's just kind of like the weird, you're just like, what the fuck? Really?
Well, it's just like, sometimes they go weird, it's like, if we go weird enough, people will find this funny, because it's so crazy.
But that's not the case. It's just boring. And I mean, part of the reason why I'm disappointed in that, and I'm just gonna say it, is because like, one, I find it's cool, because like, they have a predominantly black cast, but then it's just like, the show itself, like, I want to watch it because, it's like, oh, that's cool, but it's like, no, I can't get with it, because it's like, it's not set up well.
Yeah, I think it's probably gonna be.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, even if it doesn't get canceled this year, I think it'll get canceled next year, because I think they want to bring on other shows to the animation block, give them a chance to grow, because you never know, like, Family Guy can last forever.
I'm hoping it doesn't.
Sex from Mark Farland actually is like a cowboy show. A cowboy movie, coming out.
Yeah.
A Western movie. I guess in the same vein of maybe Blazing Saddles. I don't know what it's gonna be like, but. Did you watch Ted?
No.
Okay, we won't talk about that. So is there anything else you want to say? Jordan?
Just like, you never know what you're gonna get with us. Well, no, you know exactly what you're gonna get with a Seth MacFarlane show. Is it gonna hit or is it gonna miss? And we couldn't outright call, like, any of the shows in his lineup, like, our favorite, but there's definitely some shows in there where it's just like they had some good moments. So we thought that was worth bringing up. Because I do like a lot of American Dad episodes, but I can't count that as one of my favorite shows of all time.
So I guess real quick, like some shows that you should probably also check out. Anything from DC Animated Universe. Some of our other favorites like Duck Dodgers, which actually had a great, even though it's involves like Daffy Duck in the future.
Yeah.
Had a great Green Lantern crossover episode.
Yeah, it did.
I'm not sure what other shows, but there are plenty of other good cartoons we probably missed. I think some from our youth that Beast Wars, yeah, we like that.
That was good shit.
Even though I haven't rewatched that, so I don't know if it holds up, but...
I know it probably holds up better than Beast Machines. Oh, snap. Yeah. It's a horrible sequel to it. But, yeah. It was cool, though. Like, it'd be hard to watch now just because the way we're used to watching things now, but, yeah. And, I mean, we were debating whether or not to include some anime in this, but it's a different thing. I mean, same sort of medium, but, like, a different beast, and it's worth a discussion on its own for another time.
Yeah, because, I mean, like, we're in a lot of, like, what you would term shonen, which is basically like, kind of like, action-oriented to, like, young males. That's kind of like what the term refers to. I know a lot of women like it, but that's kind of actually like the root origin of the word. But,
yeah, and what it's typically geared towards. But
I kind of like some like what stuff like Ouran Host Club, where it's more of a comedy.
Yeah, and really, if you look at the premise, probably it doesn't seem like something that I would have liked, but it's kind of funny. And honestly, I'm gonna come out and say it. I like Azumanga Daioh. That's pretty damn funny. Have you ever seen it?
Yeah, I've watched some of that. But yeah, we can have an anime discussion for another podcast.
This is true. That's the point.
Yeah.
So,
we don't want to blow our load, so to speak.
No, like we reached like the 2-hour mark.
Well, actually, we've got a few more minutes to reach. I kind of want to keep talking just so we can reach 2 hours. Just so we can say we reached 2 hours.
Oh, let's go!
Or maybe we can add editing. We can add just like 3-minute music.
Oh god, nah, that'd be dreadful. But yeah, was there any other cartoon that might spark your mind?
Well, did you like any of the any other Marvel cartoons? Like we talked about, what about the original X-Men? Like the one from the 90s.
No, we could talk about that briefly, just, round it up. Like, I mean, because that was something that we could have mentioned, but kind of forgot. Like, I thought they did a lot of good things. Like, in terms of action, they didn't do a lot of great things, but in terms of character and in terms of seriousness, they tackled a lot. Like, I felt like, the tone was very, very mature. I don't wonder what was going on.
One thing that doesn't hold up about it is the voice acting.
Oh no, that was dreadful.
which I feel like it doesn't do the material justice, but I'm probably gonna get like someone's gonna I don't know no one's probably gonna listen to this podcast, but I feel like eventually like 5 years later, like the guy who voiced Cyclops or something. I actually don't know if the guy who voiced Cyclops did a good job or bad job. I don't really remember, but like he's gonna track me down. He's like, I did an awesome job. Fuck you.
Shooting off the blast.
Yeah, I'm sure y'all did a great job, whatever.
I mean, with what they're working with and probably how they directed, But, overall, there were they were big on, doing some arcs,
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, and I think, the best arc was, Beyond Good and Evil, an Apocalypse, and he was collecting psychics, and there's just a bunch of crazy X-Men shit in there.
Yeah, if you want to watch a lot of stuff from the comics, you got it. You got Phoenix, I think you got Days of Future Past.
Yes.
Right? Which is going to be the plot of the next movie. What else? You got a lot of the side characters. You got the Morlocks. You had Cable, you had Bishop, you had all those guys show up. So it's it was very if you love the comics, then that's probably the best series for you.
Shit ton of Magneto too.
A lot of the other I know a lot of people like Avengers vs. Minus Heroes that also got canceled recently, but we haven't seen it, so we can't really comment on it. So
yeah,
any other Marvel? Well, Iron Man the original Avengers was horrible.
Yeah. God, there's a lot of horrible Marvel
I feel like
shit out there.
I feel like yeah, DC beat them definitely in the animation part.
They beat them into the ground. Like, I mean,
and Marvel's winning in movies right now.
Yep, some had to give.
DC, I think DC would much rather win in the movies than the animation.
I bet they would.
But DC animation is creaming them.
Yeah, because I mean, they could take some characters I don't give a shit about normally, and then it's like make something interesting about it. But like with Marvel, a lot of their earlier stuff, like I guess like earlier for us, because I mean Marvel's been going on a while. So is DC when you think about it. But the major Marvel craze during the '90s, like a lot of their stuff was just boring. Like Incredible Hulk, Iron Man, I couldn't get it.
Yeah, I think like some of the Fantastic
Four, yeah,
all the Fantastic Fours,
they're kind of boring.
Yeah. There was that Iron Man, that CG Iron Man show on. I couldn't really watch it.
Yeah, and then there's some MTV stuff with like Fantastic Four and Spider-Man. And hey, with
the sequel to Spider-Man.
Yeah,
you remember that was
Spider-Man Unlimited.
Yeah,
that was weird.
Yeah, it was really weird.
It was just poorly. Well, it wasn't poorly executed. It's just a bad concept.
It was like something that should have been like an arc at most. It probably shouldn't have even. But at most it should have been an arc.
Yeah.
About like Spider-Man traveling to like an alternate universe where like some weird horse-like creatures are in control.
Yeah, but see, it's even more ridiculous than you're thinking because it's like an alternate universe. It's Counter-Earth, but it's still in our universe. It's just on the opposite side of the solar system or some crazy shit like that. And in this world, the humans are being subjected by these creatures that are created by the Higher Evolutionary that are like the bestials or
I hate the Higher Evolutionary.
Yeah, it's like, why is he in this? Seriously?
And yeah, he had a different costume. It was weird. It was very weird.
Yeah. It didn't last long for damn good reasons.
Basically, Spider-Man's like a freedom fighter more than a superhero.
Yeah. And it's like, why are you still hiding your identity? Is it that serious?
No.
I mean, there's reasons given in the show, but it's still like, but hey, one thing about the Fantastic Four, to his credit, I mean, it's boring as hell, but it was actually, there's a lot of like, accuracy
to the comics.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they covered a lot of stuff. I wouldn't say
they covered a lot of stuff that was in the comics, and they did a decent job of that.
Decent job.
Okay. Semi-decent.
I feel like there's a lot of, I feel like if you're gonna watch the old stuff, it's probably more for comedic value. Like there's a line of dialogue that probably is like a double entendre, and there's probably like just stupid shit, you know, it's like.
Yeah, but I mean, and nowadays though, I don't know what Marvel's doing with their cartoons. It's just, oh god.
Yeah, we don't like Ultimate Spider-Man.
Not one bit.
Well, what's coming out next for them is, the new Avengers series, which is supposed to more closely align with the movies. So it's going to have like the lineup from the movies. It's going to have a different animation style than Avengers Earthrise. I don't know if it's continuation. It's kind of vague. I'm not really sure. You have to look into that more, but we have to look into more, like whether it's more of a continuation of Earth's Mightiest Heroes or it's more just like a straight up reboot.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then there's also going to be, in addition to that, Agents of something. It's Incredible Hulk.
Agents of Hammer.
Agents of Smash or something.
What was Hammer?
I don't think it's Hammer. I think it's like Smash.
Well, whatever. It's something stupid, not subtle. So it's Hammer or Smash or whatever. And
it's yeah. We have to wait to see promos on that. That right now all we've seen is posters. Other than that, like, I'm not really sure anymore. I'm not really have that much faith because I don't like Ultimate Spider-Man.
No, not one bit. It's gimmicky, stupid, and childish, and just disappointing because they could have done something great with it. But yeah, a lot of the Marvel animation is just awful.
We are over 2 hours.
Yes, we are, which is cool. And hey, the Marvel movies too, like, oh my god, the animated movies are awful, but the live action ones, they really, yeah, there's something to behold, at least the ones in recent days. Because let's not forget that they did a Captain America in 1990 before they did the one that came out recently.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. Piano bombs, fake sand chicks that ended the aisle. Oh god, and Captain America being a dick. But
So
the recent stuff has been pretty good, huh?
yeah. So anything else you want to bring up about some of our favorite cartoons? I'm pretty sure we're forgetting a lot. So,
Probably. Damn.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're forgetting a lot, but those are just some of our favorite stuff. So that's
Mine right now,
that's
yeah.
pretty wide variety. It is mostly focused on Western stuff. So just stuff like we're a big comic book guy, like superhero guys. So there's a lot of stuff with that.
Of
and
course.
we like action and adventure, and also we like the comedies.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it goes to show you like how, because like there's stuff from like you can see like a 10-year-old watching stuff, you see like a 30-year-old watching, without it's in our range. So there's a wide variety of stuff.
Yeah, because it'll be like just something that could be entertaining just for some kid to watch, but there's a lot of adult shit, and then so it's like some things might fly over a kid's head, and there'll be some things like, ha, I get that, ha ha ha. No.
Yeah,
That sums up that one, and that's a long episode, but there's a lot of shit to cover, so.
Yeah, so this is what our podcast, Crash the Mood.
Yep. Remember that, people.
And check out more episodes, and make sure you do. Because we're putting them out.
Yeah.
Crash the Mood.
I like that.